So I know a lot of you guys were asking to see Brandon's FJ40 finished, and he's on his way up to Gold Lakes this weekend and stopped by the shop, and we pulled it off the trailer so we can do a walk around, because this, in my opinion, is the ultimate FJ40. So Brandon, what year is this?
78.
So 78 FJ40, and let's refresh everybody's memories on what's going on with this. So was it 5.3 LS?
5.3 LS from a 01 Chevy Tahoe.
So junkyard motor, just cleaned it up, put it in.
$600.
Whose wiring harness did you use?
Factory, and then when we did the conversion for the LS, Howell made the unit.
Okay. And then we set you up with an NV4500,
Yep.
a 4.3 Atlas.
Yep.
And Brandon did a whole bunch of his work at home, and it's been in and out of the shop for us to do our thing. Basically, all we really did is 3-link the front of it. So it has a 3-link front, 12-inch king coilovers, and what did you say you thought the spring rate was?
250 over 300.
And I think he's right, 250 over 300. It's got the Fox air bumps, so mix it up a little King, little Fox. And this is 80 through 91 Kingpin high pinion 60 front. And this is something we always like to do with the LS series engines, putting them in FJs or even CJs, is get it on the driver's side.
Yep.
The engine is designed to have the drivetrain on the driver's side, and so everything just works better. Getting the track bar over on the other side, the truss, everything else. So this has a ton of stretch. How much do you think the front end is stretched forward on this?
As far as inches, I don't know, but I know my overall wheelbase, without doing a comp cut and keeping the factory tail lights, I was able to get 104.5 inches.
So 104.5. I mean, I always thought that the optimum was 113, but 104.5 is not shabby. Longer than an LJ, longer than a Scrambler. V8, it's really well balanced. In the back, you have FJ60 Springs, and they are flipped around, correct?
Yeah.
So the FJ60 spring flip and then moves it back.
Yep.
And so you have kind of, I would almost call it a comp cut, but not really, because you're keeping your taillights in here. And of course, 14 bolt in the rear.
14 bolt with your torque arm.
Torque arm, and then what locking devices in there?
So I've got a Grizzly in the rear and ARB in the front.
Perfect combo. And then obviously 1350 drive lines front and rear.
Yep.
And you did not have to worry about the gas tank when you stretched it, because you have this, that's the man-free gas tank, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's a 28-gallon long-range fuel cell.
A long range under the seat. And while you're here, take a look at this. This is my favorite part about this. I mean, the original paint patina, cherry FJ, by the way, but look at those gauges. All the factory gauges hooked up, and then a couple other gauges added in there. What do you got in there? You got fuel pressure, or what's in there?
What do we have? We've got oil pressure,
Yeah.
temp, and tack.
Okay, perfect. Stereo in the dash. Still, you got a CD player in this thing.
I got a CD player, but that rarely gets used.
And factory heater, drink holders. I mean, the interior of this, I just drove it down the highway, and it is like driving an original vehicle, only with power and good brakes and good steering, and rides nice. So, I mean,
It's a big difference.
You take away all the rough leaf springs, the factory axles, the non-power steering. So let's go ahead and take a look under the hood.
Sure.
So when it was here last time, the engine wasn't finished up and running. And now we're running, right? Yep. So Tahoe 5.3, looks like you got some heat shields on your spark plug wires. So this is just the regular FJ radiator in there?
It is.
So factory FJ radiator with the shroud, and I like to see that mechanical fan, huh?
Yeah, so I try to keep everything as stock as possible, so if you break on the trail, you can still get parts.
Yep, and I see you got Hydro Boost brakes.
Yep.
So you put Hydro Boost in there, the ARB compressor under the hood, PSC full setup with hydraulic assist steering. And obviously the steering, the brakes, everything's been great.
It's phenomenal. It steers almost too easy.
So when we 3-linked it, we went ahead and did our frame plates. So the entire frame rail is plated from basically the body mount forward. And it, like I said, has our truss, has the hydraulic assist. Is there any one thing that stands out on this thing that's like your favorite upgrade? Of course, 40-inch tires, radials, drives great down the highway. Reed knuckles, bead locks. Like what's that one little cool upgrade that you think is your favorite?
I'm gonna have to say it's the front suspension. It was a problem for years. I had broken leaf springs. It was this constant battle of trying to get everything to be balanced correctly.
Even when you do 1-tons and keep leaf springs, it's just so much more torsional stress on the springs and the frame and everything when you keep leaf springs. Now, let me ask you this. Everybody always says, well, why only link one end or the other end? And like, with the front linked and a little bit more solid and doing well, are you happy with the rear of the leaf springs? Because I know I've done a lot of them where, you know, linked in the front, springs in the rear, it handles good, drives great, doesn't get squirrely, and still rides really good. And I'm done stamped on that. I'm okay with that. Yeah. Are you okay with it, or do you think you want to link it?
So eventually, I would definitely like to link it. There's no question about that. At the time, it came down to a time constraint and budget.
Yep.
So,
but it works.
But it works. It works really well. It seems balanced. It has good articulation. I really can't complain.
And you get on the freeway and it drives straight down the freeway.
Exactly. So eventually when we do link it, I'll cut more out of the back and try and get more wheelbase.
Well, what I can tell you is the fit and finish of the fuel system, the wiring, the interior, the gauges, the whole package that you have here with the original paint that, I mean, look at this original paint. I mean, it's immaculate.
Mustard yellow.
So everything you have going, as you know, put this on the top of my list on FJs, and you know, I do have an FJ40 as well. Mine looks nowhere near as nice as this, so I'm a little bit jealous. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Factory half door cut down, caged. I mean, everything's done. So have a good weekend. Thanks for bringing it by.
Ready to party.
Yep. See you guys. I almost forgot one thing. We never looked at the tire rack, and I happened to see a green Yeti ice chest back here with our sticker on it, so you know how I like to look in ice chests.
Uh-oh.
Bingo! Hey,
look at that.
Pacifico?
Right on, right on.
It's my kind of beer, too. Well, might as well drink that.
Cheers.
Here's your start to the 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.